Welcome to WBC Faster Together, the LinkedIn Live series of the Women Business Collaborative. I'm Gwen Young, Chief Operating Officer of the WBC. And today we are joined by one of our Leaders Council champions, Purba Majumder. WBC is an unprecedented alliance of over 65 women business organizations and hundreds of business leaders, building a movement to achieve equal position, pay, and power for all women in business. Through collaboration, advocacy, action, and accountability, we are mobilizing thousands to create momentum and accelerate the pace of change. We celebrated that momentum all during Women's History Month, and we are thrilled to close out Women's History Month with you, Purba. Our board of directors, advisory, and leaders councils include more than 34% people of color. And please check the chat for our 9 action initiatives through which we aim to accelerate change, and join our movement at wbcollaborative.org. Each week in this series, we offer different ways to advocate change and accelerate impact by presenting data, research, and best practices, by lifting up the power of women's voices for change, and by showcasing the importance of cross-general collaboration and the allyship of men in the movement. Today, we want to talk about how women rise in tech, the power of the voices for change, and the importance of mentorship and pathways along the way. Welcome, Purba. So let's start with.
Thank you so much.
So let's start with Cybervation. I know we've talked with you before, but want to hear how, what are you doing in 2022 in both kind of the technology and staffing services, and kind of what does that mixture look like as we're moving into the 2022 and sort of this post-pandemic world, if you will?
Yes, we, our business, we have different products and services that we offer. We started the company out with offering custom software solutions. That's where we focused on. But then we, like back in 2017, we thought that we would focus on a particular product instead of just doing custom software solutions. And that's when we developed our product. It's the online ordering platform for retail and hospitality industry, more specifically for restaurants, bars, food trucks, small to mid-sized stores. And this product is called Bistro UX. So it's an online ordering product, not only for pickup, delivery, but also for gift cards, coupons, loyalty programs. We even help businesses with digital marketing. So that was an initiative which started in 2017 when we started to get more restaurants in that space and help them, become online and automate processes. The other part of the business, which also started way back in 2016, was the staffing unit. And the staffing, the logical expansion of the business was in IT staffing board, which we still do. But in 2019, we were approached by one of our clients, the state of Ohio, that if we could offer healthcare staffing. And that was a new initiative at that time. And we said, sure, we can do it. Because as business owners, we don't let go of opportunities, right? So we started the healthcare staffing. And this is so different because now we are staffing STNAs, LPNs, RNs, NPs, right? All different types of skills. So now we have the IT staffing, the healthcare staffing. We still offer the custom solutions, the software solutions, but we are more focused on the bistro. And coming back to your question, so we were very fortunate to have all these different types of offerings in place when the pandemic hit in 2020. Because what happened at that time was a lot of businesses had to recalibrate because they were not online the way we were, but it was an advantage being a technology company. We were already out there doing everything online for all the different products and services that we have. And so the biggest emphasis was on online ordering for the, the retail or the hospitality business. So we were able to get many new restaurant owners that were struggling at that time to keep their doors open. And we have a zero commission model, so we were able to get many more businesses into our system. And same with the healthcare staffing piece, because we were doing healthcare staffing, And that was something that was in demand. So we got many new positions. I mean, even today, that market is just booming because people are needing more help with healthcare resources and they're getting burnt out. So there's a constant demand of more resources. So if you look at the market in general, you'll see that there's a more emphasis of technology, regardless of where you are going. And that is clearly something that we also see in our business, like automation, that kind of a thing.
And what is that what does that mean for those pathways, right? Because we read a lot in the news, there's a lot of demand, there's a labor shortage. You know, we've been reading for years that to be a woman in technology and to kind of rise up, get recruited, stay, get up into C-suite, it's been a very difficult pathway. What's changed or what hasn't in terms of those pathways right now? What does it look like from where you sit?
So I think that, I mean, everybody knows about the labor shortage situation. There are different reasons why we are not able to find people to recruit. Some of them, one of the things that I have noticed in my business, or we encountered this in many of the candidates we try to hire, is that they are looking for more flexibility. So they are not willing to commit to like a 9-to-5 job just because they need more flexibility. Now, this can be due to a variety of reasons. This can be due to the fact that they have family and young kids. And with the pandemic, their schedule is not fixed. So like I know of people who used to work 9-to-5, but they cannot work anymore 9-to-5 because the buses that used to come to their house to pick up their kids do not come there anymore because of changes in bus routes and everything. So there are or they have to pick up their kids at different times and all of that, or they have some kind of healthcare issues that they're dealing with, either with their immediate family members, they're taking care of them, or they are trying to keep themselves safe because of some health conditions they might have. So that those are some of the reasons why we see a lot of the traditional workforce members not in the workforce in a 9-to-5 kind of role anymore, because they're trying to address all these needs. And one of the ways I think that we have been able to get more success is by offering that flexibility to our the people that we hire. Mm-hmm. So, like for example, in the healthcare field, there's more PRN type of needs. We talk to these candidates all the time, and they would say, "I would like to sign up for hours whenever I can." And so that's kind of where I think that's a different mindset. Obviously, the way we have operated before is different from the way we are operating right now. But we are trying to educate. We are trying to educate our clients. We are trying to tell them that this is something that is going to be here for a while. So how can we provide the best kind of service, keeping all of these things in mind? And some of them they have been open to more part-time, flexible kind of roles, as opposed to like a more full-time 40-hour kind of roles. That's definitely something in the staffing field. Even the people in IT that we work with, they work flexible hours, but that hasn't been a challenge because in IT, everything is based on deliverables. So it doesn't really matter where you work from or how many hours you are working from. As long as the project gets done, most of the times the companies are happy with that. So I think there are some adjustments that we are making in this space to accommodate all these people that can work but might not work in the traditional ways like we've done before.
Yeah, it's a different way kind of our managing employee engagement as much as the businesses, and I like that sort of deliverables model and the flexibility. But let's switch to an area like more on sort of what skills people have. Manir, I know you're passionate about. Tell us about Cool Tech Girls. Tell us about that.
Yes, I mean, that is such that's something very near and dear to my heart. And so I have been in the software field for many years now, like 27 years now. And when I started out, I was working for the corporations, for the big corporations, just like traditional pathway from a junior software developer to becoming like a manager, and then eventually becoming managing different teams in different countries. So that's kind of where I was in my traditional career path. But during this process, I was working for a very big corporation, so I saw how all these different types of softwares are playing a big role in the growth of the company. And that's when I created Cybervation, because I wanted to give back. I wanted to be a small business owner. I wanted to have more flexibility, and that's how I created that. So I have always been passionate about technology and getting more women involved, because when I started, there were very few. It's oftentimes I was the only female in my team. So when I was raising my kids, and this is like way back in 2012, 2013 timeframe, my oldest daughter was in seventh grade, and I was trying to encourage her to go for all these different types of STEM type events. And she said, no, I don't want to do that, because I'll be labeled as a geek or a nerd, and I'm not going to have friends. And I was just shocked to hear that. And I was like, what? I don't really understand what you're saying. And then I started looking around, and I saw that many parents are actually facing the same issues like what I was facing. And like I said, I was very passionate about this whole thing to begin with. So I was like, oh, we have to do something about it. And I got some people around me, the city where I started my business in, and also some of the local companies to join in. And we started Cool Tech Girls in 2013. And the goal was to expose the different types of opportunities to these girls at a younger age, starting from 8 to 18 years. So we wanted them to be aware of the opportunities around them, to introduce them to women role models, to educate the parents of the different opportunities, and also to form the collaboration with the schools as well as the local companies. Because what the Cool Tech Girls model wants to highlight is the role of companies or the small businesses, and how it's so important for this future generation to know what kind of jobs are out there. Because oftentimes when they go to school, they talk about, these are the different fields that you can pursue, but they have no idea as to what the job looks like. And that might not be a good fit for that, the personality that they have or the passions that they have. So one of the things that we focus on is just partnering with companies and showcasing, like, these are the types of jobs. These are the women who work there. And look how happy they are. So this is, if you see yourself like one of those women, this is something that you can consider doing. And this is something that you can do. So kind of build up their confidence and make them more prepared.
No, and I find it interesting, like you said, because we know that not only the types of jobs in sort of tech or STEM have grown, right? But even the leadership roles. So now there's CIOs and CISOs and cybersecurity experts and chief data analytics. Like there's this whole sort of C-suite level and board level. So it also makes it really interesting to figure out what are those jobs. And it's not just working in that industry, tech is needed across other sectors and other industries, right? So I think that's fascinating. As it's what you're doing with the health and the retail and the hospitality. But let's talk about, maybe keeping on that theme of kind of creating those pathways. What is mentorship, and who have some of your mentors been? We'd love to hear kind of what role that played in building your businesses.
Yes. So when I started the business, obviously I had experience in the corporate field. So I had the benefit of having the experience that I needed to have to get me started there. We started the business when I was working for the corporation. So, I was kind of a little bit prepared that way. But when I quit my business in my job in 2010, that's when I was starting to look at, what other organizations can I join that can help me, kind of give me the other things that you need to know when you want to run a business, right? It's not just when you are working for a corporation, you are in that bubble. So we are all in that bubble. And there is a lot of infrastructure and a lot of support that's already existent within that ecosystem. But when you run your own business, you are on your own. So that's a big undertaking and it takes a lot of courage. I have so much respect for business owners and more specifically for women business owners because it is not easy. It is absolutely, it takes a lot of courage to get out there and say that, I'm going to be able to do whatever needs to be done, whether it be sweeping the floors or whether it be accounting or whether it be payroll or, whatever the background might be. So I think in those years, NABO is one organization that I joined and I definitely benefited from listening to other business owners, what their challenges were, and finding out that this is not just my challenge, it's for everybody who is in this space.
Yeah.
So that definitely helped me a lot. But the other thing I think is going back to your questions is the importance of mentorship or any of those types of programs. I feel like that has really made a big difference in my view of what I can do and what our business should be doing. And so one of the organizations, I got introduced to Enterprising Women, interestingly, not through the Enterprising Women conferences or anything like that, but to my daughter, because my daughter was a scholarship recipient for the Enterprising Women Foundation. And that's how I met Monica Smiley. And she has been the most amazing person in my life. So Monica has introduced me to so many different people. And then she recommended me for the Million Women Mentors program. And the Million Women Mentors program is a phenomenal program. Well, it used to be there before, but now, obviously we have WBC and other things, but it played a big role in my life and my business. And she introduced me to ED, and everybody knows ED, and
That
ED
is true.
can definitely transform things for anybody. She has I think it's that access to the mentors and the sponsors and people who would really be advocating for you is really important in the growth of any business or business owner, and more specifically for women.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a very big gift just because, I'm an immigrant. So oftentimes, people, even though like this year, I'm almost going to be here 30 years, I came here as a student, but still we do not have the kind of network that people over here might have developed over the formative years of their life. So we are always trying to, connect to other groups and establish that relationship. And Edie and Monica kind of helped me take my business from a regional level to more of a national level, where I was talking to other people and who are in other states or maybe at the national level, talking about, what's important there. What are some of the things that they're doing? So I definitely thank them for their support and what they have done, and introduced me to WBC now, where I'm getting the opportunity to speak to you today and sharing my story. So I do appreciate all that WBC is doing, and all these types of organizations that help women get the visibility, get the network, or connect them to these different pieces where they need to be connected.
Now, and then we all know that network is so important, right? It's so I'd love to end with we try to end these with a little bit of a call to action, Purba. So it's, what should an organization do, or what should, the next generation do? So I'd love to, give us a call to action for the audience. Like what can we do here, March 31st, 2022?
So I have a couple of thoughts. So as a business owner, whatever we've been talking about is really from the business owner point of view. how we can get there from where my journey started to where I am today. But also for women who are working in the corporate world, I think that there are some important things that can be done to let their voices be heard. And when I started my business and I was looking to join organizations, one organization that I joined was Women for Economic and Leadership Development. That WELD, the chapter of WELD in Columbus is the first chapter that they had. And I became actively involved with them. And through WELD, I got to hear a lot of other leaders, women leaders, and there were so many topics that they talked about: how to gain confidence, how to work with other people, how to make more allies, and even like a journey of women. Whether you're a business owner or a corporate person, if you want to rise in that, the journey in leadership, then what are the different things that you want to know about? So it's very important to join these types of organizations that kind of prepare you. And even I'm learning from them now as they talk about, how to get your skills together, how to prepare for maybe a corporate board position or a public board position. So I think that joining these types, and WBC has a similar role to play. So I think that these organizations have really an important role to play, because a lot of times when you are in your business or you are working in any particular job, you're probably not thinking about those other things, or you think that it is too difficult and this is not for me. And it's the same kind of mindset that, a young girl might have. Like, when you were in middle school, they're thinking, I can't do this. This is not for me. And I think that imposter syndrome is continuing to linger. Even when we grow, I think as women, we always face that. So I think it's very important to, have these allies, these sponsors, these advocates, and help them, prepare you along the way. Regardless of where you are, if you are an entrepreneur or you are in a corporation, there's so much to do and there's so many opportunities. So these organizations, I think, play an important role in talking about those opportunities and gaining access. And now, I cannot even imagine my business without these types of organizations supporting me.
They're so amazing. And that's why I think it's such an honor to be able to speak with you and work with the Women Business Collaborative, since we have 68 of them, from enterprising women to WELD. And it's the ability to bring those together and just expand our reach and understand what we're doing and how we're doing it, and work with organizations and amazing CEOs and women like you. Thank you, Purba. Thank you so much for today. It's wonderful to know you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So that's all we have time for today. We invite you to wbcollaborative.org to learn more about the WBC initiatives, which are focused in 3 groups: to increase women in the C-suite and boardroom, to address the underrepresentation of women in areas like access to capital and industries like technology, and to advance a pipeline of women to bring gender and pay parity and diversity, equity, and inclusion to the business landscape. So join our movement, and please join us here next week when we will speak about our new release, the Women Leading Boards Report, with 50-50 women on boards and myself. But join us weekly to keep up to date on our next guests, our progress, the movement for gender parity, and the latest issues. And please follow us on social media at WB Collaborative on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and have a fantastic last day of March.
Thank you.